بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to our next video. Today we're going to be covering number. So in the 4 properties of the ism, we're going to be talking about number today. So just to quickly recap, in our roadmap, we've talked about the Jumla Ismiya, we've talked about Mawsuf Sifa fragment, and in the 3 different types of words in Arabic, there's the Ism, which are nouns, Fi'l, which are verbs, and Harf, which is the other category. We have talked about how to determine if an ism is definite or indefinite, and we've also talked about gender. So today we're going to talk about number, and in the next lesson we're going to talk about status, and then we will have completed our discussion on the 4 properties of the ism. Okay, so let's begin with number. So in Arabic, an ism can be singular, dual, or plural. So today we're going to focus on plural. So there are 2 types of plurals in Arabic. There's something called sound plurals, and there's something called broken plurals. So always keep in mind this very important principle of patterns in the Arabic language. So sound plurals, they have a very specific pattern, and when you see that pattern in an ism, you know it's a plural. So what is that pattern? The pattern is different depending if the ism is masculine or feminine. So remember, in the properties of the ism, a ism can be masculine or feminine. So if our ism is masculine, what will the plural look like? Let's look at an example. The word dhalimun, which means wrongdoer, this is the masculine singular form. How do we make it plural? So dhalimun is a sound plural, so it takes a pattern, and the specific pattern is dhalimuna. Dhalimuna. So it takes this ending, this una ending. Okay? This is the sound plural for masculine. Masculine sound plural. Okay, now what if we have feminine? Feminine, the feminine example is mu'minatun. Mu'minatun. So remember this feminine ending of the ta marbuta, the fatha followed by ta marbuta. This is a feminine ending. So this is feminine singular. And this will also have a plural, and the plural is a sound plural, and the ending for feminine sound plurals is mu'minatun. Mu'minatun. So the ending for feminine is this atun ending. So this is the feminine sound plural. Okay, let's look at a couple of more examples. For example, the word tawabun. Tawabun. This is masculine and singular. So the plural is going to follow this plural ending, and it's going to be Tawabuna. Tawabuna. So here is the ending. Here is the ending sound. Okay, let's look at one more example of feminine. The word ayatun. Ayatun. This is feminine singular, and the plural is going to follow the feminine sound plural, which is ayatun. Ayatun. What's going to follow? This is the alif, the prolonged letter with the ta is the sound feminine plural. So this is now feminine plural. Okay, so that wraps up the discussion of sound plurals. Now what about broken plurals? So broken plurals are formed by a change of vowel pattern from the singular to plural. So broken plurals, it's a break in the pattern. So basically there's no pattern, like how we saw in the sound plurals, there's a very specific pattern for the masculine ism and the feminine ism. In broken plurals, there's no specific pattern. Rather, you learn broken plurals through experience. So there's not really any way to just learn it as a beginner. It's kind of just as you read and you're exposed more to these broken plurals, you'll learn it that way. So it's really important when you're learning vocabulary to learn the plural along with it. So I will give you a few examples. So for example, the word abdun, which means slave, the plural for it is ibadun. Ibadun. So see how there's not really a specific pattern here, because this is not a feminine word, but it's not really having a specific pattern like the masculine sound plural. For another example is qarnun. Qarnun. The plural is qurunun. Qurunun. Kitabun. The plural is kutubun. Okay, so see there's not really a pattern here to be learned. Now there's a very important rule with broken plurals though, and let's talk about this rule. So broken plurals, they have a very special rule. So broken plurals are treated as feminine singular. Broken plurals are treated as feminine singular. Okay, what does that mean? So let's go back here. The ism, it has 4 properties. It has a definiteness, it has a status, it has a gender, and a number. Whenever you see a broken plural, regardless of whether it's whatever the gender is, it is going to be treated as a feminine, and the number it's going to be treated as a singular. So there's singular, dual, plural. Broken plurals are treated as feminine singular. Okay, and why does that matter that it's treated as feminine singular? It's important because that determines how other things will affect it when it serves as a fragment or when it's in a sentence. It's important to know all the 4 properties of an ism. Let me give you an example to make this much more clear. So for example, the word Kutub. Kutubun is the plural of the word kitab. So this is a plural. This is a broken plural. It's a broken plural because it's not following one of the sound plural patterns that we learned. So it is going to be treated as feminine and singular. Okay, remember when we learned in Mosuf Sifa that the Mosuf and the Sifa have to match in all four properties. They have to match in definiteness, status, number, and gender. So if I want to use kutub in a Mosuf Sifa fragment, then the Sifa also needs to be feminine singular because kutub is feminine singular. So if I want to say kutubun, the books are valuable, I will say kutubun qayyimatun. Qayyimatun. So notice how qayyimatun, it has the feminine singular ending. So qayyimatun is feminine and singular. It is also indefinite because there's no al and there is tanween, and kutubun is also indefinite, so they're both matching in that, and they're both in the rafa status, which inshallah we will learn in the next video what that means or how something is rafa, but it's basically they both have dhamma on the ends, so they are both rafa. And so this is why it's important to know that broken plurals are treated as feminine singular. Now, there's one little nuance, one more nuance to this discussion, and that nuance is that if the broken plural is referring to male people, then you can treat that ism as a masculine plural or feminine singular. You have the option. So if the broken plural is referring to male people, you have the option to treat it as masculine plural or to treat it as feminine singular. Let me give you an example. So the example is rijal. Rijal is the plural of rajul, which means man. So rijal is the broken plural for man, so it means men. Because rijal is actually referring to male people, a group of male, we can treat this as masculine plural. So when we are making a mosuf sifa of rijal, we can say, let's say we want to say believing men, we can say rijalun mu'minuna. Mu'minuna. Because mu'minuna, this is the masculine plural form of this ism. This ism is masculine plural because it has the una ending. The una ending is the sound plural for masculine isms. Okay, so spend a little bit of time on this rule, really understanding it. Broken plurals are treated as feminine singular with the additional caveat that if you are referring to a group of male people, then you have an option. You can treat the ism as masculine plural or feminine singular. Okay, now there is just one final thing I want to mention because this is seen in the Quran, is that there are some isms that are singular in form but plural in meaning, and so these isms can have plural adjectives. And the main example I want to talk about is the word qawm. Qawm means people. Okay, this ism is singular in form, but it is plural in meaning. So you will often see in the Quran, you will see qawmun in a mawsuf sifa fragment, and the sifa is plural. So for example, you'll see in the Quran, al-qawmu, al-qawmul kafirun, kafiruna. So both of the isms are definite here because there's al and no tanween. And even though this is a singular ism, this kafiruna is plural. But this is okay, this is acceptable because qawm is plural in meaning. Okay, I think this is a very good place to stop. We have talked about plurals and number, and inshallah in the next video we are going to talk about gender, and then that will have wrapped up our discussion on definiteness, status, gender, number. We will be done talking about the 4 properties of the ism, and inshallah we can move on to talk about even more types of fragments, and pretty soon we will even start reading Quran together and breaking down the sentences together, inshallah. Thank you so much for your attention, and inshallah see you in the next video. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum. See you guys in the next video.